Welcome back to Crush Cravings Before Diabetes Crushes You. My name is Karen Sammer. I'm a board-certified health and wellness coach, and I'm here to help you to overcome cravings so that you can lose weight and avoid diabetes. This is for you if you are overweight and you know that your weight is causing you health issues. This is for you if you are know that you're pre-diabetic or have some other chronic illness looming in your future. This is for you if you just want to lose weight and feel better about yourself, or feel better in your skin, or feel better in your life, feel better energetically, whatever it is that you need. This is for you if you need to overcome cravings so that you can lose weight once and for all. And so today what we're going to talk about is how to eat for diabetes prevention, or if you are diabetic, how to possibly reverse that condition. So what we want to do is we want to, first we want to understand the importance of nutrition when it comes to diabetes prevention. Nutrition is undeniably one of the biggest components of whether or not you're going to remain healthy for the rest of your life, or you're going to rely on medication for the rest of your life. And if you're eating well and taking care of yourself and feeding yourself and nourishing your body in the way that it needs to be nourished, you'll find that you will most likely not have to worry about chronic illness throughout your life. And there are other factors involved. But for the most part, if you take care of your body the way it is intended to be taken care of, very likely you will die from natural causes as opposed to from a specific chronic illness in a very long time away, from now. So let's talk about, first of all, prediabetes. Prediabetes is a condition that is indicated by maybe an elevated A1C level or an elevated fasting glucose level. 90%, 90% of diabetes. And all of this is type 2, type 3, and type 4 diabetes that we're talking about. Type 1 diabetes is a different animal. That is an autoimmune disorder that affects your pancreas. What I'm talking about, is the result of a lifetime of food choices and lifestyle choices and stress, unmitigated stress, and the things that just cause a generally unhealthy life. So these are things that can be prevented and can be controlled by you on some level. There's stress, maybe not as much, but there are ways that you can alleviate the effects of the stress on your body. And those are a topic for a different day. So when you're overweight, you certainly increase your risk by a tremendous amount for developing diabetes, whether it's type 2, type 3, which is dementia. Type 4 is dementia-related diabetes without the overweight condition, and this is probably from some, you could be like a thin person with terrible diet, and you just happen to be lucky enough to have a metabolism that doesn't put on weight, but that doesn't make you any less unhealthy, any less unhealthy than someone who is overweight with a bad diet. So, first of all, let's talk about what you should eat when you are on that slope, or on that. Actually, everybody should eat this way. But if you are on the path of diabetes, or you know that you are creeping up in the numbers and your numbers are getting you're in the danger zone, then let's talk about the way you should eat. And this should be for everyone. So number one, let's focus on whole foods. Whole foods. It's easy, right? It's the stuff in the grocery store, usually around the perimeter of the store, that doesn't have a label. Maybe it has a price tag on it. Maybe it has a SKU on it, but it doesn't have an instruction label. It doesn't have an ingredients label, because it's only got one ingredient, the thing. So I'm talking about produce. I'm talking about lean proteins. I'm talking about organic dairy, if you're going to use dairy. And I'm also talking about things that occur in nature. Within the aisles of the grocery store, there are things like grains that are dried, and you have grains and beans and lentils and legumes and rice. Those things are within the aisles of the grocery store, but they need to be reconstituted because they're all dried. But those are also considered whole foods, because it's just one ingredient is the thing. It's the beans, it's the rice, it's the millet, it's the amaranth. It's the thing, and it doesn't have preservatives, it doesn't have added flavorings, it doesn't have unhealthy fats attached to it, it doesn't have all kinds of sugar involved. It's just the thing. So those are considered the healthy foods. Fruits and vegetables. I have advocated for years that you are far better off if you eat at least a primarily plant-based diet. Plant-based is not necessarily vegan. It's mostly plants. It's fruits and veggies and whole grains and unprocessed complex carbohydrates. Starchy vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, fruits, everything in the rainbow. As I said before, ancient grains, amaranth, millet, teff, all these different rice, brown rice, specifically white rice has been processed. And the things that, the things that require you to use that, to either cook them or cut them up, or they require some level of preparation from you. They're not just open a box, pour it in a pot, put a little water in it, and watch it cook. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about food that needs to be prepared by you, however that is. But the more work that goes into it, other than fancy recipes, the more work that goes into it, the more likely it is that it's going to be better for you. So eating foods that occur in nature as opposed to things that are made in a plant is really what you should make your diet primarily made up. Your diet should primarily be made up of that. And it should primarily be made up of plants. If you're going to eat animal protein, and I'm not saying yes or no, I'm saying if you're going to eat animal protein, make it a side dish, not the main event. Because many of us were raised in the meat and potatoes era, where you have a big slab of meat, some potatoes, and some veggies on your plate and call it a day. Maybe a salad on the side. But you don't need that much protein. You don't need to eat a side of beef every time you eat a meal. You can have a little bit of animal protein, because not everybody feels healthy not eating animal protein. And you need to, or you should, I'm shooting on you, you should follow the guideline that 75% of your plate should be some sort of fruit or vegetable or plant-based items. Whether it's a starchy vegetable or I like an unprocessed grain or a whole grain, a starchy vegetable, green vegetables. Eat lots of green vegetables. Eat lots of rainbow-colored vegetables. The purples and the reds and the blues and the yellows. All of those have different nutritional profiles to them, and so they each bring a different benefit to you. So eating from the rainbow is a really important thing. So have a nice fresh salad at every dinner. Dress it with something that you made yourself. A little olive oil, maybe some vinegar, maybe some garlic, some lemon. Actually, if you have the lemon, you don't need the vinegar. But one of my favorite dressings is garlic infused olive oil with some lemon juice in it. You mix it up. You just shake it up in a jar, and you put it on the salad before you put it on the table, so that people aren't dousing their salads with dressing. You just put it a little bit on the salad, and you mix it all together, so that everything is covered with it, but it's not smothered in it. And it's a great salad dressing. And when you add things like radishes and peppers and scallions and different types of greens, or just all these different, there's so many different things that you can add to your salad. You can put some avocado in there for some good healthy fats. You could put some fruits. You can put some nuts in there, put some walnuts or cashews, or crunch up some seeds. You can put some sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds. There's all sorts of things that you can put into a salad to make it hearty. And in each one of those things, the nuts and the seeds all give you another amount of protein. They give you some protein. They give you some good fats. They give you some fiber. They have all kinds of micronutrients in them. It's just, you can be so creative with a side salad. Or you can make the salad the main event and put a piece of fish on top of it. It doesn't have to be fancy. It does not have to be complicated. It can be very simple. And because simplicity rules the day in my life. I am not a fancy cook. I like to grill. Well, I don't grill so much, but I like to use seasonings. I put some fish, because I'm a fish eater. I'm a pescatarian. I will put a piece of salmon in the oven, put some seasoning on it, and just cook it. Just roast it. I guess that's roasting. I'm not even sure. Baking it. It's baking it. And put that on a salad, and it's a delicious dinner. Especially in the summertime when you don't want to eat heavy food. It's a really nice, refreshing dinner to have in the summertime. I also use canned salmon. Canned salmon is just like tuna fish, but I make sure it's wild caught. I always make sure my fish is wild caught when I use it. And I use the canned salmon in a number of different ways. I can make salmon burgers. So instead of a veggie burger, we don't eat meat in my house, but instead of a veggie burger, you can make a salmon burger, and I use an air fryer to do that. Or you can do that in the oven if you don't have an air fryer. You can put that on a salad. You can put that on. You can put it on a whole grain roll. I recommend staying away from bread as much as you can. But if you're going to eat bread, make sure it's a good quality whole grain roll where you can actually see the seeds and the solid material in the bread. That it's usually pretty dense, and it's got pieces of seed in it, and those are the types of breads that I think are more beneficial than, say, what they call whole wheat bread. Whole wheat bread is marginally better for you than white bread. But those are just some ideas as to how to put together a simple meal that's easy to do. You can do it quickly, and you don't have to prepare a lot. Now, one of the things that you might want to consider, though, is if you're going to have if you want to have a nice salad every day, then maybe on the weekend or whenever you have some downtime, pre-cut some of the veggies that you're going to put in the salad, so that you're not doing that every single night, because then you'll just come up with excuses as to why you can't do that. But if you pre-cut the veggies and put them in something airtight in the refrigerator, then all you have to do is pop it into the salad, and you got yourself a nice salad every day. Next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you monitor your carbohydrate intake. And by carbohydrates, what I'm referring to is refined carbs specifically, because veggies are all carbohydrates, but they also have a lot of other stuff going on. They have fiber in them. And fruit is a carbohydrate, but it's got fiber in it also. And it's got a lot of water. They both have water in them. So there's a lot of things in the fruits and veggies that mitigate the damage that eating a straight carbohydrate, like a refined carb, would cause in your body. So you want to, if you are in the danger zone where you are possibly in danger of developing diabetes, or you are pre-diabetic, you specifically know that you're pre-diabetic, or any other kind of chronic illness that is caused by eating habits that maybe have not been the best for you, you want to make sure that you monitor your blood sugar. You want to monitor it when you get up in the morning. You want to check it when you are, before you eat something. You want to check it after you've eaten, before you've eaten, and you want to check it several times during the day. Excuse me. And you want to be very choosy about the carbohydrates that you consume. And I would certainly recommend that most of your carbohydrates come from fruits and veggies, or other types, fruits and veggies specifically, because those are complex carbohydrates. They take longer to break down in your body than simple carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are things like pastries and cookies and breads and things that convert to sugar very quickly in your body, causing your blood sugar to go a little wonky. But when you're eating complex carbs, the complexity of those carbs is the fiber and the other things that help to slow down that sugar rush, so that you're not getting that big burst of sugar into your bloodstream, and then the ultimate crash that comes afterwards. So eating more complex carbohydrates is definitely better for you. And if you're gonna eat bread, as I said before, make sure that you can see the action in it. When you cut a slice of bread, you want to see that there's seeds in there and nuts and whatever it is that they're causing that makes them call it whole grain bread. You want to make sure that there actually is whole grain. There are actually whole grains in there. But another choice is sourdough bread. Because from what I've read, and I have to do a little bit more research on this, but from what I've read, sourdough bread actually helps to keep the glycemic load of your meal lower. And I imagine it's the fermentation that took place. It's the starter for the sourdough bread is a fermented substance of some sort. And that may likely be the reason that sourdough bread is more favorable for you than other types of bread. Does that mean you should sit down and eat a whole loaf of bread at one sitting? No. You should still limit your intake because it is still a carbohydrate. But it's definitely a better option for you than, say, whatever the popular white bread is on the market. And that is just the kind that used to, at least when I was a kid, stuck to the roof of your mouth. I'm not going to say the name of it, but I don't know if it still does because I haven't had it in many decades. But the type of bread that was gummy, it was very white and very gummy in your mouth, so it stuck to the roof of your mouth. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. And you can private message me for the name of that bread. I won't be giving that out. But some of the whole the whole food, the complex carbs that you can eat would be brown rice, quinoa. What else? Oh, fish. Not fish. Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are also carbohydrates, but they also have fat. They also have protein. They have fiber. So they are those are almost a complete food. But eating, trying different grains that you may not have tried before that require you to cook them. Sometimes it takes maybe an hour to cook them because they are dried and they are complex, so that it's hard to break them. Break them down to the point where they can be, where you can chew them and eat them. But choosing things that require some preparation, and again, you can pre-cook that stuff and use it throughout the week. I wouldn't cook rice very long in advance, but you can cook it. And rice actually cooked, cooled, and reheated, or just cooked and cooled, is better for you because it becomes a resistant starch, so it doesn't cause your blood sugar to spike. And so when you do that, when you eat a rice that's been cooked, cooled, and then reheated, you're not causing yourself to have that blood sugar impact that you might otherwise have if you ate rice. So these are things, and you can prep them a couple of days in advance, those types of things, so that you're able to eat throughout the week without a lot of preparation, especially if you're busy working and dealing with kid things and dealing with family things, dealing with whatever it is you deal with, house things. At least you can make it so that you don't have to spend an hour or two every night in the kitchen just prepping dinner. You can actually have things ready to go so that you can kind of assemble whatever the dinner is and have it ready really quickly. You also want to make sure that you're eating plenty of fiber. In our standard American diet, which actually I would actually now call the standard Western diet, because we're not just Americans are consuming this food that we're eating. When I say food, I'm saying in quotes, air quotes. When you are, when you're eating the standard American diet, you are getting probably 5% or 5 grams of fiber a day, or even less, depending on how you're eating. Your body needs between 25 and 30 grams a day of fiber. And in order for it to do what it needs to do, fiber, both insoluble and soluble fiber, are very beneficial to your body. The insoluble fiber, the stuff that doesn't digest, is like a scrub brush on your colon and your intestines, and it kind of gets all that gunk out of there, pushes it through, and allows it to be eliminated in a natural way without having to use laxatives or any other artificial means of removal. You're able to, when you consume enough fiber, you're able to eliminate regularly the way you need to. At least once a day is really the healthy thing. And I would argue that maybe more than once a day, maybe twice a day. The soluble fiber is the stuff like when you open up a can of beans and that gooey stuff that's around them, that's soluble fiber. Soluble fiber attaches to the cholesterol in your body and moves it out. So it helps you to actually remove cholesterol, the bad sticky stuff from your body, the LDLs from your body. The good stuff, the HDL, the big fluffy cholesterol, it also helps to remove toxins and move things through your body, get the bad stuff out. But you want the sticky, gooey, problematic cholesterol to be removed, and that's what insoluble fiber helps to do. So eating plenty of fiber also helps you to keep your blood sugar under control, because when you're consuming fiber with carbohydrates, that fiber that's part of a carbohydrate, it helps to slow down the influx of sugar into your bloodstream, so that it helps you to not have those sugar spikes, and it helps to distribute that sugar over time, so that you stay fuller longer. So the fiber doesn't digest well. The fiber doesn't digest. Let's just say that. So it keeps you feeling fuller longer. It comes in, it does its job. It feeds your microbiome. It helps you it's a prebiotic to feed your probiotics. And so it is important to get enough of it so that your gut flora is flourishing. It's also helping you to clean out your colon. It's helping you to mitigate your blood sugar, or to moderate your blood sugar, so that it's your blood sugar is kept at an even keel. And it's easy. You don't have to eat celery all day. There are different ways that you can get fiber into your body. You can mix chia seeds into your food, for instance. Chia seeds, what they do is they absorb like 9 times their weight in water, so they become gelatinous. They become a soluble fiber, and they fill you up. So you can add them to some sort of food, let it sit for a bit so that it fills up. You can make a nice chia pudding that just includes a plant-based milk, unsweetened. Put some chia seeds in there, put maybe some maple syrup just to sweeten it up a little bit. Or you can put some banana, like a ripe banana, and blend it all up, put it in the fridge for a couple of hours, and you've got a beautiful banana pudding. And you don't have to add the maple syrup, because the banana will be plenty sweet. And it'll give you a little something if you want something sweet. That's not going to jack your blood sugar. It's going to give you some things like potassium and fiber, and I can't think of anything else that's in banana. Bananas are good for potassium, but they're also good for other things. But you're getting the fiber from the chia seeds, and chia seeds are also a protein, so you're getting some protein from it, and you're not making your blood sugar go crazy. You can use beans in your meals. So beans are an excellent source of fiber. They're an excellent source of protein, and they're usually non-fat. If you're just using plain beans, they're non-fat. And so you're not increasing. They're calorically low while nutritionally dense, which is really that's a good thing. Now beans have a bad reputation for causing unwelcome flatulence and what have you. But if you introduce them a little at a time, if you're not used to eating beans and you introduce them to your diet a little at a time, you're able to develop the enzymes required to break them down so that you don't have that issue. If you're going to eat a can of beans in one sitting without ever having beans, or not having beans for many years, you're going to suffer consequences. So my recommendation is also to, when you're cooking your beans, put a little vinegar in to help break down that membrane that causes the flatulence. And as I said, use a little bit at a time. But when you're eating beans in your meals, what I do sometimes is I'll take white beans, so I think they're Great Northern beans or cannellini beans, and I will use an immersion blender in spaghetti sauce with the beans and make that. Just put the beans in there and immerse them, and use the immersion blender to break them down and make that part of the sauce. It thickens the sauce, and it also provides a lot of protein and fiber while you're eating it, and it's already broken down somewhat so that it doesn't cause that problem. And my family's none the wiser. It just changes the color of the sauce to a pink, so it looks like vodka sauce almost, and it doesn't taste like vodka sauce. But I don't use that kind of stuff because that's got heavy cream and all kinds of stuff in it. But it helps to add more protein to the diet, add more fiber to the diet, add more. It adds more substance, so it fills you up and keeps you fuller longer. And so when I make a pasta, sometimes I use brown rice pasta, sometimes I'll use chickpea pasta, sometimes I'll use lentil pasta, and so each of those types of pastas, with the exception of the brown rice, give you more protein, and they're not a simple carbohydrate anymore, because white pasta is a simple carbohydrate. That's something that's going to break down and turn into sugar in your body very quickly. So these are just some ideas of how to get some additional fiber into your diet. You want to make sure that you eat plenty of healthy fats. Healthy fats are going to keep you satiated longer. They're good. Your brain needs fat. So going on a non-fat or low-fat diet is really very dangerous for your brain. It's not good for any organs. Your organs need fat. You need fat to assimilate vitamins into your body. There are a lot of vitamins that are fat soluble. So that means if you're not eating fat while you're taking that vitamin, you're not getting the benefit of it. There's also fat will also help to lower the impact of sugar in your blood, so that when you are consuming fat with a carbohydrate, that slows down the sugar going into your bloodstream. And you want to make sure, though, that the fats that you're consuming are beneficial fats. You want to stay away from trans fats. Trans fats are usually in processed food. They are that would be partially hydrogenated, whatever it is, any hydrogenated oils. That means that they've added an extra hydrogen atom, and it causes problems. It causes it to be a trans fat. Trans fats have been linked to cancer, to heart disease, to all sorts of things that are not very helpful for a healthy body. So when you avoid processed foods, that helps you to avoid trans fats. But you also want to make sure that you're not eating junk oils like vegetable oil or canola oil. These are things, I know that this has been touted by all sorts of authorities, that canola oil is okay for you. It is not. It is highly processed, and it is highly inflammatory because of the the processing of it. And the oils that you should probably be consuming are things like seed oils. Well, no, it depends. No, that's not. Scratch that. Not seed oils. Seed oils are often the ones that are problematic. Avocado oil, olive oil. These are the only two oils that I use typically. Avocado oil and olive oil. And when I cook with olive oil, I do it at low heat. Olive oil is unstable at anything over 350 Fahrenheit, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. But avocado oil is more stable. I also use coconut oil to cook with, because that's also more stable in high heat. And, I don't cook with oil a lot. I don't fry things. I usually use it just a little tiny bit sometimes with, I can't even think now. Maybe as a binder, or I use it maybe for, can't even think of when I use it. Yeah, mostly it is, avocado oil is what I use if I need to use an oil. Olive oil I use in salad dressings more often than not. You want to get your fat content from fatty fish like salmon. Salmon is a great source of omega-3s, but you want to make sure that it is wild caught. So if it's Atlantic salmon, it's pretty likely to be farmed, and when it's farmed, they are kept in very small containers with lots of fish in one small container, so they're not free to swim and do whatever fish do. And when they're kept in those containers, they're kept in those farm pens, and they're not able to move, and they're very close to each other. If there's a disease, it spreads very quickly, so they're medicated for the disease. They're often fed things they're not meant to eat and need to be medicated because that's causing them to be ill. So eating farmed fish is probably not your best option. If you're going to eat, you should eat wild-caught fish, and so Pacific salmon, wild-caught coho or sockeye salmon. Those are the highest levels of nutrients in salmon. And wild-caught anything should be your choice, because at least they have a chance of swimming around the ocean and eating the way they're supposed to be eating. But you want to also minimize your animal products, minimize land animal products like beef, pork, lamb, all of these things. Chicken. Well, chicken is probably less bad, but the farming process or the farming of these animals is not only is it cruel, but it's very unhealthy for the meat, because these animals are kept in stressful situations their entire lives, and stress causes hormone development in your body, causes cortisol development, not only in your body, but whatever, these animals are under constant unrelenting stress. So the hormones that are associated with that stress are coursing through their bodies and getting into their meat. So now you're consuming that stress-ridden meat, and all of the things that are causing the stress are altering the quality of the meat. So if you're going to eat meat, I highly recommend that you eat it from free-range cattle or free-range animals, and that they are eating the way they're meant to eat. They're eating grass. They're not eating grain. They're eating whatever it is that cattle are supposed to eat, grass-fed. So they should be grass-fed, free-range, organic, all of the things that nature intended for these animals to be doing, and then they should be slaughtered humanely. So they're not living under constant, unrelenting stress their entire lives, and then slaughtered where their other animals can hear them being slaughtered, and because that, the agony that they're expressing when they're killed also increases the stress level of the other animals. So, I could go into a whole litany about why animal products are really bad for you. I am not a vegan, but I do not. I don't eat meat for various reasons, but one of them is certainly the way that these animals are treated and raised, because they are held in unnatural conditions their entire lives, and they're highly stressed, and it definitely impacts the products, the meat products. So, that being said, not only that, but the saturated fat that comes from animals is what causes the sticky cholesterol in your body that causes you to be at risk for heart disease. It causes you to, it gets the sticky cholesterol sticks to the walls of your arteries and clogs them, causing blockages, causing heart attacks and strokes, and just chronic heart disease. Nobody needs that. So next, we're going to talk about portion sizes. Now, very often we suffer from portion distortion, which means that we think that we're eating a small amount of food when actually we're eating a side of beef. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it's really important that you, at least for a short term, you weigh and measure food that you're eating so that you know exactly what a 4-ounce portion is of something, or a half a cup is. And it after a while, and it doesn't take very long, but after a while you'll be able to eyeball it more accurately and identify what a half a cup is of something. So sometimes you can maybe use the palm of your hand as a half a cup for a half a cup measure if you're trying to measure out like a half a cup of rice or maybe a half a cup of seeds or something like that. But I really recommend that you use real implements of measuring implements, measuring tools like measuring cups and teaspoons and tablespoons and all those things. A scale, get yourself a cheap postal scale to weigh out if you're eating 3 ounces of meat or something like that, weigh it out so that you're not consuming more than you think you are. Because when you once you start monitoring your portions, and you can you pay attention to your satiety cues and your hunger cues, you're able to eat more mindfully. Because if you're eating, if you thought that you were eating normal sized portions and you find out that you're eating 2 or 3 times the amount of food that you should be eating in a portion, initially you may feel like you're not getting enough food. But what you're actually doing is you're just ignoring your satiety cues. Because we often eat way more than we need. And if you sit and relax and eat slowly and mindfully so that you're not shoveling in the food, then you were able to pay attention to the cues in your body. And you're also allowing your body to indicate when it is full, when you have eaten enough food to satisfy you. You don't have to be full. In fact, I would recommend that you stop eating before you do get that full feeling. Because still it takes your brain 20 minutes to realize that your stomach has been fed. So if you wolf down your food in 15 minutes, your brain still thinks it's hungry, and you may continue eating even though you've had plenty of food to eat. And then at the end, after you're done, you realize that you have eaten too much. I mean, how many times has that happened to people? I know that has happened in my life. But ways that you can control portions, you can, like I said, you could weigh and measure, which I highly recommend, at least in the beginning. You can use smaller plates, because smaller plates makes it look like you're eating more food. Because your eyes your eyes and your brain and your stomach and your mouth, and all of these things are incorporated into your food satisfaction. So if you have a smaller plate that's fuller than a bigger plate would be, then you're subconsciously you think you're eating more, and you'll feel more satisfied. And definitely make sure that you're paying attention when you're eating. Don't be playing on your phone. Don't be watching television. You should be eating mindfully and slowly, chewing each bite very thoroughly, and really enjoying the meal so that you are not wolfing it down before your brain gets the signal that it's been fed. And this, I probably should have started with this part, but limit your intake of sweet beverages, sugary sodas and teas and lattes and frappes and all the whatever beverage is being consumed in large amounts that is causing, that is certainly contributing to our diabetes epidemic, because the sugar in those drinks goes directly into your bloodstream. It does not pass go. It does not collect $200. It goes directly into your bloodstream and causes your blood sugar to go wonky. And when you do that with some of those drinks, if you saw the ingredients list on some of those drinks and the amount of sugar that goes into them, hopefully you would be disgusted by it. It is unbelievable how much sugar goes into those beverages. So make sure that you are not consuming. If you have a habit of getting a latte every day or some sort of frozen milkshake like coffee every day, then my recommendation is if you need to wean yourself off of it, go to the next smaller size, then go to every other day, then eventually just drop it completely. And if you want, if iced coffee, let's just pick on iced coffee for now. Iced coffee is what you need. Why don't you make it yourself? And you can make it with less sugar, certainly, if you have to even use sugar at all. But eventually, if you cut back on the sugar and to the point where you can cut it out completely, you can drink iced coffee and put a little maybe plant milk in it or something like that. A little coconut milk. Coconut milk will sweeten it a little bit and also change the color like regular milk does, because some of the other plant milks won't give you the color that is appealing. But coconut milk will give you the sweetness from the coconut, and it will give you some, the color change that you want. But then that may be enough. And if that's the refreshment that you need, if having an iced coffee is what you need, then do that. Try that. But it's less expensive to make it yourself, and it also you can control the ingredients that go into it. So it's not full of those syrups that they put in and the whipped cream and the whatever else goes into those things. They're a recipe for a lifetime of really bad health. And what I recommend is that you maybe switch to teas or water, infused water. So what I like to make is I make a big jug, especially in the summertime, of ice water in my kitchen. It has a dispenser on it, has a little spout on it, and I put ice cubes, ice cubes, and I put frozen strawberries and maybe some mint leaves, and I pour water over that, and that gets dispensed all day long. So my family drinks more water when that's visible, and it also it makes me drink more water, and it makes it taste better. It's not just plain water; it gives it a little bit more interest, so that you're not drinking soda, but you're drinking something that's got some flavor to it. And when you're eating snacks, make sure that you are eating something that's got protein. Maybe so, like a good snack would be something with protein, fat, fiber, and a little bit of carbohydrate. So an apple with almond butter, for instance, or veggies with hummus, or maybe a handful of nuts with a piece of fruit. Those would be a great snack because they have all of the components. They will keep you fuller longer so that you don't have those blood sugar spikes and dips. And it gives you more of an even blood sugar level. So if you're going to snack, I recommend doing something like that so that you're not, if you're eating a candy bar or what they consider, those protein bars and whatever it is that has tons of sugar in them. Those are no better for you than a candy bar. Even though they're touted to be something that's healthy, they're really not. You got to look at the ingredients. You got to look at the amount of sugar that's in there, and you might realize that they're not as good as they like to make you think they are. But if you are, if you plan your meals throughout the week, for the week, if you pre-cut and pre-prepare things that you're going to use throughout the week, and if you keep it simple, don't be so complicated, and don't make anything fancy. If you do all of these things, then you're going to be 80% there. If you get the nutrition down, the nutrition is 80 to 90% of your weight loss journey. Exercise is only 10 to 20%. So exercise is very important. It helps to tone your body. It helps to keep your body healthy and strong, and helps you keep your stamina up, and gives you energy and all that stuff. But the food, you can never outrun a bad diet. You cannot. I don't care how much. If you're eating terrible food, it is going to be much harder for you to lose weight. And even though, we've heard this story of calories in, calories out, it's not just that. It's not just expending more calories than you take in. It's really the quality of the calories and what they do for your body. So be sure that you understand. And if you don't understand, hire somebody, hire a health coach. Talk to a health coach. I offer a free consultation to anybody who wants it. One free consultation. And I will help you learn how to eat in a way that's going to be beneficial for your body. It's going to make you happy. It's going to make you healthy. It's going to help you live longer. It's going to help you avoid medication. It's going to help you do all sorts of things. I'm not a fitness coach, so if you need fitness advice, you go to somebody else. But what I am is a health coach and a nutrition coach, and I can help you with all of that. I can help you with mindset. I can help you with stress reduction. I can help you with sleep. I can help you with all sorts of things, because all of these play into your ability to avoid developing diabetes. Because all of these things have an impact on your blood sugar. Lack of sleep, too much stress, eating terrible foods, not getting enough exercise. All of these things impact your blood sugar in a negative way. So let's have a conversation. I'm happy to talk to you about it. And if you want to work with me after that, great. If not, you will at least have some action steps to get you started. So let's talk. Go to my website, yourpoweryourhealth.com, and book a session with me. Answer the intake questions so that we can direct the conversation in the way that needs to be directed. And I look forward to talking to you. This has been Karen Sammer, Your Power, Your Health, Nutrition, and Health Coaching, and National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. See you next time. Bye.